felt resistance after just having had a huge breakthrough, this is the episode for you. We're going to talk about how that resistance is actually your life teacher. And if you want more, please follow us here and become part of the Move with Intention community. After having just recently finished a 2-week intensive training, I thought that I would come out ready to fly. But what actually happened was I crashed really hard into resistance, and that was the greatest gift that I never asked for. Today we're going to talk about resistance and how it actually is a gift and how it actually shows us or reflects to us that life is happening for us, not to us, and that we get to overcome and rise up above these different things that come up upon us. We get to rise above the challenges, the obstacles. That resistance there is a mirror so that we can take a step back and reflect and think, okay, this is working, this is not working. How am I showing up for myself and for others? And that's exactly what has just been happening to me. And I'm really excited to share this because it's something recent that's just happened. And it's a huge reminder to myself that resistance is a gift. Resistance is a mentor and a teacher if you allow it to be in your life. And for me personally, after having coming out of this 2-week training, super intensive, all day, long days, having absorbed all this information, I was definitely in doer mode. If I had to be, do, or have during that training, I was definitely do. Writing notes, learning the tools, applying them real time, coming home, sharing all that I'm learning, telling others, telling my friends, telling my family, super excited and ready to dial down and implement them and integrate them into our real life and our real work. However, when I came out of the training, there was just resistance that I hit. And I started having these different thoughts that I haven't had, y'all, in years of you should be doing more. You've been out for 2 weeks. There's so much to catch up on. You're going to fall behind. I have not had thoughts like that, and I can't remember how long. And I remembered stopping, pausing, but thinking, why am I having these thoughts? And why are these feelings coming back up? And it was almost a frustration, a feeling of panic of, I just did all of this inner work. And if you've been in the same boat, you've done all this inner work and you have resistance come up and it meets you face to face. And then you sometimes wonder, I know I found myself wondering on day number 1, why is this happening? I just did X, Y, and Z to overcome X, Y, and Z. Why am I being faced with the same things? And it's like, wow, okay, this is an actual real time, real life teacher standing right in front of me. And today I want to talk about the why. Okay, this is so important, how we can utilize resistance as a teacher to get us to point A, from point A to point B, and actually help us evolve and not keep committing the same pattern, as well as how I got through it, what I ended up doing, and what I learned from the experience in hopes that it helps serve you too. If you're looking for more tools to apply to your real life situations, go ahead and register yourself into our community. Look for the link below this episode, and we'll be sending out information soon. During this training, it was very intensive, like I said. We were out there for 2 weeks, every single day, nonstop, learning. Well, I don't know about you, but that automatically puts me into doer mode. And if you guys have ever heard of be, do, or have, I was definitely experiencing the do. The go, the get things done, the learn and apply immediately so that I don't forget it, even though I knew that my subconscious was absorbing all the information. And something really interesting is that while your subconscious is absorbing all the information, the conscious likes to play little tricks on you and make you worried that you might forget it. However, when you lean into the process, I know for myself, leaning into this process, after a couple of days having these conversations with myself about the resistance I was feeling, I realized it's already inside of me and it's my responsibility and my decision to just ride the wave and integrate and implement it as feels good for me. Now, there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you've ever done a training before, a seminar, a workshop, and you've come out having done a lot of really deep inner work, then you probably resonate with what I'm saying. There's going to be some sort of a grace period where you give yourself time to rest, to recover, to recuperate, and you step into that new identity. You step into the next version of you. You step into the next project, the next obstacle, and it's going to look different for everyone. For me, I'm here to share my story and the tools that I used those past couple of days after the training to get where I am now, to feeling all of the feelings that I felt during the training, integrating it into my life completely with confidence and security, knowing that it was already in me the whole time. Then that resistance just showed up to teach me a lesson, that lesson that would have continued to repeat time and time again until I got it, and then share the tools around what it is that I did and what I learned from the experience. I want to walk you guys through the process and what took me about 4 days to get through to implement and integrate back into our day-to-day routine. And I'm not saying this, listen closely and carefully, I'm not saying that this is going to take every person 4 days to get through, but for me and my experience personally, it took me about 4 days to integrate, and I was not expecting that in the least. And so what happened first was I asked for space. And this was actually the first time that I found myself asking for space. I asked for time. I asked for the space to just be and go for a walk. And I did so with about maybe 30, 40 minutes of intentional, Lacey, just be. Don't do anything, just be. Thinking that that would be enough, right? But no, after 2 weeks of really deep inner work, that just didn't cut it. And it's funny because I knew that I shouldn't fill the calendar. I knew that I should just let myself be, give myself permission to do nothing, at least for a day, no? But we found ourselves with the calendar full the very next day, and I thought, okay, I have the tools under my belt. I know exactly how I'm going to implement them so that we get the things done, priorities on our list of things for the day after the training, and then I take my time and I take space to just be for a little while after. But because of the adrenaline, because of the ambition, because of so much going on and having to be super adaptable at the moment as we're traveling around the United States, we find ourselves with a pretty full schedule for the day after the training. Now, those conversations that I had during the day were amazing. They were energetic. They got me going. Except during the afternoon, I felt myself crash. And I thought, okay, my body is telling me we need a pause. We need a break. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where your just energy goes low and you feel depleted. And that was my sign. I said, okay, this is it. This is the cue to just take the time for myself. And so, like I said, I did maybe like 40, 45 minutes maximum for myself. And then I got right back to it. And it was almost like forcing because I knew that my energy wasn't at 100%, but I still wanted to give my all during the day. And I didn't follow through on just being. And so I feel like, okay, second day came, I'm on day number 2 now, and I was like, let's implement some tools. We did some breath work, I did some movement. I always wake up in the morning and I have a really firm routine that I stick to. That day, I did my routine. We also went to a couple of different events. We had some meetings with clients. It was a busy day to say the least. And so there's another day that I didn't just simply allow myself to be, which in end, it resulted in my energy kind of hitting a plummet once again. Day number 3 rolled around and I thought, okay, this funk has gotta go. I felt myself kind of in this state of numbness where I wasn't super excited and motivated, but I also wasn't feeling the feelings of frustration, which says a lot because I had done a lot of MER and released negative emotions. So that's a great thing, right? I didn't feel the feelings of shame or fear or the negative emotions, anything that was related to what was going on at the current situation. But I also wasn't feeling inspired or enthused or alive either. And I thought, okay, this is an energy thing. This is where I get to just take a break and take a pause. If you're looking for more tools to apply to your real life situations, go ahead and register yourself into our community. Look for the link below this episode, and we'll be sending out information soon. Did that happen? No, it did not. So this is just like hitting the resistance right in the face, or having the resistance rather slap me across the face and remind me, listen, Lacey, you are a human being. You are not a human doing. And when I remembered that quote, when I remembered that saying, it all came back to me. And this is day 3, y'all. It could have taken a day, maybe 2 days, but it took me till day 3 to remember that I didn't have to be doing, going back to the old way of being, going back to the old patterns of always being on the go, that I could just simply be. And sometimes by simply just being and allowing myself, giving myself permission to be in that space, to recharge my battery in the way that serves me the best, I'm going to be able to show up better the next day and the next day and the next day. And it's all going to be worth the wait and the patience in the process. And so not listening to my intuition, having that full schedule, going at full speed until I hit day 3 and realized, all right, I'm a human being, not a human doing. What are we actually doing here? How can I move with more intention? Was that I actually sat with Yvonne and he's like, Lacey, what are you doing each day to fill up your cup? And that seems like a simple question, but that actually hit really hard because I thought, okay, I have this routine that I really like to implement in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, wherever I can fit it in, have my flexible pants on, especially when we're traveling. But was I following through on my word? And if you resonate with this, maybe you also really, really hold your word as firm. Something that I always have promised myself was that if I say that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way to make it happen, no matter what obstacles I have to overcome or what gates I have to break through. My word for me is super important. And so, having held my word during the trainings and then falling off the wagon after the training when I'm supposed to be just pouring into myself was really disappointing. And so, then of course, emotions start to come up and I started to feel different things, and disappointment was definitely one of them. But I think the resistance in all of this happening was so that I could see myself reflected in a mirror and realize, Lacey, are you doing things that fill your own cup up? The answer was no. I wasn't doing all of the things. I wasn't moving my body. I wasn't moving my brain. I wasn't breathing intentionally with like this deep connection to self and to what it was that I wanted to get out of the experience and to just be in the moment. I wasn't allowing myself to just be in the moment. I don't know if you've ever been in a scenario where you're go, go, go nonstop, and it's almost as if you're programmed to keep at that speed until eventually you're neglecting other parts of your life, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your sleep, your diet, you're not taking good care of yourself at a physical level, maybe you're not drinking water, and all of a sudden it just hits you like a brick wall and you feel that resistance and you wonder, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing all these things, I'm being ambitious, I'm getting things checked off my list, but then at the same time, you're also forgetting about something really important. And a lot of the cases, it's ourselves. And me, in this moment, after this really in-depth training, was forgetting about myself and that I needed to pour all the energy that I just expended back into myself so that I could fully be in the moment and be my best version. And having that conversation with Yvonne was a true wake-up call and something that we talk about all the time with clients. How are you filling up your own cup? What are you doing every single day that is not only rewarding for your body, your brain, your heart, your soul, but also makes you feel the feelings that connects you deeper to yourself? For me, in this case, it's the feeling of pride. It's the feeling of fulfillment. If I don't feel the feeling of pride and I don't feel the feelings of fulfillment, there's no reason, there's no intention behind what I'm doing. That's exactly why I created Move with Intention all those years ago and why we do what we do now. Putting intention and purpose behind the actions that you take make it that much more meaningful. And not only does it make it more meaningful, it makes you more receptive and more reactive to keep following through no matter what happens. And in this very moment of my life, what I needed to do was relax a little bit on the action and just allow myself to be. And so how many days did it take me? Okay, it took me 4 days to learn that lesson. And I think now going forward, I'm always going to remember this because I didn't go back into action 100% full speed ahead like usual. I gave myself space. I gave myself time. I used tools as simple as breathing, intentional breathing, deep breaths that just allowed my brain waves to completely relax and wind down. I walked in nature, went outside, I got to the beach, I got surrounded by trees and I grounded. If you're looking for more tools to apply to your real life situations, go ahead and register yourself into our community. Look for the link below this episode and we'll be sending out information soon. I gave myself space to just listen to music. Music is a huge outlet for me. If you've never used music as a way to move emotions, it's a huge recommendation that I always share with our clients. You can use music for so many things, but you can also use music to just allow yourself to be in the moment, to be in the emotion, and to allow that emotion, whatever it is you're feeling, to flow through you instead of getting stuck inside of you. Music was a huge anchor during this experience for me, as well as moving my body, having my morning routine and sticking to it. Even on the days that I didn't want to, knowing that, okay, when I follow through, it's not just the action that I'm taking, it's my word that I'm following through on and that I'm holding as a really high standard for myself. And in result, that gave me pride. In result, that made me feel fulfilled. And as soon as I gave myself the space to do those things, to follow through on my word, I felt way more connected to myself. Actually, we had a friend give us a call and she wanted to do some filming in her studio. So we went down to help her out. I ended up doing a facial, having time for myself to just be in that moment while helping and being of aid in filming. And that in itself was it was a huge gift. I let myself just relax and be while helping someone that we really care about. And I felt really, really connected to myself after that moment. And so whatever works for you, obviously works for you. And when you find yourself hitting those walls of resistance, it's better, instead of judging, instead of wondering why is this happening again or defining it as a failure, to take a step back. I took a step back completely these last couple of days after that training and I wondered, okay, what am I doing right now? What strategy am I running? What pattern am I committing that's not serving me? That's not allowing me to expand and to be my best self. And when you take the time to be instead of doing or having and worrying about everything around you and just going inward after an experience like that that's so in depth, you're going to find that resistance is the best teacher that you most likely didn't ask for. So, what did I learn from all of this? So much. But ultimately, that being brings meaning. Doing brings the results, and that is great because, yes, we want to take action. If you know me, then you know that I am all about action, but being brings the meaning. If you can't fully be in the moment, then you're never going to feel fully fulfilled. And fulfillment is one of the top things that people want to feel. Majority of people want to have a life of meaning, purpose, and intention. And in the Western world, we have this model of be, do, and have all backwards. And I remember when I transitioned into the perspective of be, do, have versus have, do, be, everything shifted for me. Because instead of thinking I have to have the things to be able to do what I love to do to then be happy. And when I flipped the script and I went, I get to be happy because I do the things that I love, and I get to have the things that come from doing what I love the most. Flipping that script changed so much for me. And sometimes it's like we have to go unconscious and forget to then come back and be fully conscious and aware and totally remember. And this is what's definitely happened to me after that experience of those 2 weeks of deep inner work. Having to forget to learn the life lesson, to then remember and fully embody the things that I love, that I practice, that I teach. Going slow and integrating is not a must. Going slow and integrating at your own speed is not non-negotiable. It is a must. You have got to do it at your own speed and in your own way. And for me, what I learned from this experience was that resistance is not here to destroy all the work that you just put in. Resistance is actually here to make sure that you digest, to make sure that you don't just change with a little bit of force, that you change fully, powerfully, and presently. If you're looking for more tools to apply to your real life situations, go ahead and register yourself into our community. Look for the link below this episode, and we'll be sending out information soon. It wants to remind you that you are here to learn, not to just go back to reality living the same exact way that you were before you did the work. When you do the work and resistance shows up, celebrate it. See if you can get so far as to celebrate when resistance pops up, because it's popping up for a reason. Otherwise, it would not have popped up. Resistance is there knocking on your door, and it's going to continue knocking on our doors until we open it up and allow the life lesson in. Something that I learned during this experience is that grace is necessary for growth, rest is necessary for expansion, and that when you're integrating, move slow, be mindful, and give yourself the space. Give yourself permission, because when you do, you allow yourself to fully integrate and expand, implementing all the things that you've already learned into your life with grace and with love, with intention. I'm really glad that this experience happened to me and that I had those couple of days of just absolute resistance, hitting that stone wall over and over and over again, because it taught me how I get to choose to move forward. And that I don't have to repeat this cycle, that I don't have to continue to go speeding through life like lightning bolts, that I get to slow down and I get to be, because being brings the meaning. And of course, at Move with Intention, we want all the meaning possible. We want everyone to feel super connected. And at the end of the day, if I'm connected, then our message is connected. And if our message is connected, then other people are getting that same connection back. It's just like pouring into your own glass first, putting that oxygen mask on yourself first, and utilizing the resistance of when things don't go as planned or things don't go right to actually be the feedback that helps you course correct and redirect where you're going. Because actually writing in my journal the other day, I got to have this experience. It wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me, because it allowed me to redirect my energy. Instead of the constant back and forth of, why is this happening to me? How could I be having this happen once again? The negative internal dialogue that just seemingly popped up out of nowhere. I got to face all of those things head on with love, with intention, and tell them, you're no longer welcome here. This no longer serves me, and we have implemented a new strategy, a new system, and a new foundation into ourselves as human beings. And just taking it back to being in the moment, being present, and knowing that the transformation has already happened. It's already inside of you. It was already inside of me at a subconscious level. It just gave me the time, gave me the life lesson of what it takes for me to integrate and implement with love, with grace, and with purpose. If this episode resonated with you, if you've gone through something similar or used any of the tools that I mentioned above, leave a comment, drop us a note. We would love to know what you used and how it helped you. We love getting to hear your experiences and having you part of this community. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we can't wait to be back with you guys again here soon.